It's summer, and that means festival season. Tens of thousands flock to music festivals across Australia, having the time of their lives. But things can take a disastrous turn. Often enough, young revelers end up in hospital in serious condition after ingesting harmful party drugs such as ice and cocaine. Sadly, some don't make it home. So could these drug overdoses have been prevented? It's one of the key questions emerging once again in renewed debate about pill testing. So is it the solution? Let's first take a look at the national state of play. All but 2 jurisdictions are either vehemently opposed to pill testing or not quite convinced enough by the evidence to legislate it.
The way in which my body and my metabolism may react to an illicit drug may be very, very different to someone else's. So regardless of whether pill testing is in place or not, that's simply not a green light and doesn't give a green light about the safety of that particular drug.
There's no current plans to change our policy settings. I think it is important to, particularly in this area, particularly an area that it's dynamic. There are, as I said before, different sorts of drugs coming into circulation, and we need to understand that.
So that leaves Queensland and the ACT. Queensland has approved it and is preparing to hold trials, so the actual process is yet to begin. But it is in full swing in the ACT, where it operates on a harm reduction basis. Here's how it works. Anyone who is thinking of using a certain drug can bring their pills to the Can Test facility in Canberra, where it's chemically tested. Once the pill is analysed, a staff member informs the potential user about the results and discusses the risks the person would face if the drug was consumed. The facility can't stop someone from taking the drug nor confiscate it. While most state governments don't support pill testing, some state coroners, including in New South Wales and Victoria, have a different view. In response to the death of a 26-year-old man who took a highly potent form of MDMA many years ago, this is what Victorian coroner John Cain had to say in September.
It is likewise impossible to know whether, had Mr P been provided information of this type, he would have changed his drug consumption behaviour. But likewise, in the absence of a drug checking service, this was not a possible outcome.
It's a view backed up by a recent Monash University study which found there were 64 drug-related deaths at music festivals since 2000. Most were young males who had consumed MDMA.
The research shows that when people have visited drug checking services or pill testing services, 1 in 3 will dispose of the drugs if they're not what they anticipated using. Some of them will use drugs in a safer way, so they might use less of that pill.
Recent findings also show that pill testing can go beyond harm reduction. At Can Test in Canberra, it was able to identify 3 new mystery drugs that are now in circulation, including this, a new type of cathinone, a drug used to treat ADHD, but is raising concerns because scientists don't know how it'll affect festival goers.
The majority of these novel drugs are probably coming from southwest China. They're almost certainly not synthesized in Australia, and they're cousins of drugs that we know well already. But as is often the case in toxicology, mere similarities don't necessarily imply same effects.
So as this debate rages on, one thing is clear. No one, not even the experts, believe pill testing is the one silver bullet that will put a stop to drug overdoses at music festivals. Because there is also the issue of combining drugs with alcohol and physical exertion. But many agree it is a vital tool in possibly preventing more deaths in the future. Among them is Jen Ross King. Her 19-year-old daughter, Alex Ross King, died from an MDMA overdose at Sydney's FOMO Fest in 2019.
The government need to listen to the experts, please. Every time I hear a politician speak, something ridiculous comes out of their mouth. They are not experts. They are politicians. They need to listen. They need to implement harm reduction strategies within music festival environments this summer.